If you can't kill a boss, no reason why you can't look like one. Moogle putting the wow in transmogs. A Frost DK look, most definitely. Razorfin shoulder guards from Isle Expeditions. You could check your local Isle Expeditions, help you get the drop, or just step up, buy it on the auction house as that recolor Paladin tier set gets cheaper and cheaper. Wrathful Gladiators Dreadplate chest piece. Wrath of the Lich King PvP vendor, 3 marks of honor to get the old school Wrathful chest piece. The belt, which I think really works with this set, Cloudbreaker Great Belt, Throne of Thunder, Jinkrock the Breaker is the boss, 5% on the drop rate. I think it drops from other bosses as well. And the legs are part of the same PvP tier set as the chest piece, Wrathful Gladiators Dreadplate Leggers, 3 marks of honor, of course, Stormwind Rogue. Actually, you get that in Dalaran, the Wrath of the Lich King version. A couple of versions, got to make sure you tell people the right version. The feet, Relentless Gladiators Greaves of Victory, which is basically going to be found in Dalaran, Wrath of the Lich King version. Of course, the hands, Razorfin Gauntlets. These are Isle Expeditions, part of the same tier set as the shoulders, or you can buy them on the auction house. Moving on, we're going to show you the back, which is a very Death Knight kind of back. Sentinel's Winter Cloak, Dalaran, buy it off of the Legacy Quartermaster. The headpiece, which I think ties things in very nicely from Halls of Reflection, so it's spammable. The Captain's Chest, 5% drop rate on the chest. And the weapon, Mindbender's Flame Blade. That's a one-hander, by the way. Hellfire Citadel Heroic. Showing blood DKs or fire DKs, as some of the leaks out there will let us know are coming soon. Shoulder plates of the Eternal Ulduar. Arya is the boss. I don't know, I got that Game of Thrones thing. I don't know if that's how you say it. The chest, Blackrock chest plate. You get this out of your garrison. It's from the Dwarven Bunker or the War Mill, 80 Iron Horde scraps. To pick up the chest piece, that looks pretty darn good. Moving on, we're going to show you the belt, the Flame-Licked Girdle out of the Burning Throne. Shutdug is the boss, 18% on the drop rate to get that skull with the orange outlines. Moving on, the legs, also part of the same tier set as the chest, the Black Rock leg plates, Garrison, Dwarven Bunker, War Mill, same price, 80 Iron Scraps, 80 Iron Horde Scraps. The feet, Sabatons of Lifeless Night, Ulduar, the Gift of the Observer, 5% on the drop rate. Doing the spin to show you the cloak, which we'll get to in a few seconds. But first, we're going to show you the hands, which I really like for DKs. Gauntlets of Ruthless Reprisal, Ulduar free as gift, kind of a fair drop rate to pick up those old tier hands. Moving on, we're going to show you the back, which is the Gilded Thorian Cloak. Karazhan BC version, Terrestrian Illhoof is the boss, 17% on the drop rate. I have that committed to memory already. Going at Blackrock Foundry Mythic to get the headpiece, which looks really cool for your typical blood DK stuff, and the weapon, which I'm starting to overuse, like the cloak. I suppose this works for all 3 specializations, probably best for Unholy though. Soul Gorged Spalders, or Pauldrons, Spalders. What's the difference between a Spalder, a shoulder pad, and a Pauldron? I'd really like to know. Hellfire Citadel Heroic. The chest piece is out of Dragon Soul, LFR. The Unsleeping Boss, so bring him some NyQuil, that'll knock him out, solve his insomnia. Kind of a fair drop rate on the chest piece. Moving on, we have a belt, which is straight out of Cathedral of Eternal Night, so that's spammable as a dungeon. Agronix is the boss, 5% on the drop rate. Moving on, we're going to show you the legs next, which are part of the same tier set as the chest from Dragon Soul LFR. The Unsleeping Boss, as I said, bring him some NyQuil, help him out. Necrotic Boneplate Greaves, of course, that's the legs. And now for the feet, Stompers of Brazen Terror, Hellfire Citadel Heroic, Killrod Deadeye is the boss, 13% on the drop rate, doing the spin. And the hands are next. Demon Gaze Gauntlets, Hellfire Citadel Heroic, that's of course from good old Warlords of Draenor, all the fun. So you can see the boss and kind of a fair drop rate for the hands. Now we have Lady Orc showing you the Dark Leather Cloak, vanilla level leatherworking. Check your local leatherworker or buy it on the auction house. The headpiece, Wild Gladiator's Dreadplate Helm. If you're Horde, it will be Warmongering. Either way, it's going to cost you 3 marks of honor to get the headpiece. And the weapon, Ruthless Gladiator's Decapitator, 5 marks of honor. Champion of the Frozen Wastes, aka Frost DK, I think we're going for here. First piece is Adam Uldir, Heroic Mithrax, the Unraveler is the boss, 5% on the drop rate to get those shoulders, early tier BFA. The chest piece, Warmongering Combatant's Dreadplate chest piece. Of course, if you're Horde, it would be Wild. Wrath of the, no, that's not Wrath, that's Warlords of Draenor, the fun PvP vendor in Asheran. The belt, Iron Crusher's Collar, which is at a Blackrock Foundry Mythic Beast Lord Darmak. Nice 20% drop rate to get the belt. Moving on, the legs, Warmongering Combatant's Dreadplate Laggard. Say that 18 times really fast. If you Horde, it will be Wild. 3 marks of honor to get the old PvP tier legs. Moving on, I believe we have a human showing you Notorious Combatant's Plate Boots, which are at a BFA level blacksmithing. Check your local blacksmith, check your local auction house to pick up those particular boots. Moving on, the hands, Fluid Resistant Specimen Handlers, Uldir Heroic, War Mother Rakali is the boss, kind of a low drop rate for those hands. So we've got a little bit of Uldir, a little bit of Warlords of Draenor, all the fun, and as you can see, the cloak is from your Legacy Justice Quartermaster, 140 gold to get that kind of DK looking cloak. The head, Titan's Overlook, Obsidian Sanctum, Sartharian is the boss, make sure you're normal mode 10-man, and the weapon, Mindbender's Flame Blade, Hellfire Citadel Heroic, decent drop rate. For Death Knights who kind of want to look like they're not a Death Knight, Necrotic, Boneplate, Shoulder Guards, of course that is part of a tier Death Knight set, of course. Dragon Soul Heroic, Hagar of the Stormbinder, 22% drop rate, not so bad. Now the chest piece is going to be a bit difficult, it's going to cost you some gold on the auction house, or you could just farm it out of Blackrock Depths, 33% on the drop rate. If you want to farm it, you're going to have to go, well, we'll get to the legs and we'll explain it then. Wild Combatant's Girdle of Prowess. If you're Horde, it would be Warmongering, just 1 mark of honor to get that belt with the knife through it. Looks kind of cool. Now for the legs, Saltstone leg chains. Now you could farm the chest plate also because that's part of the Saltstone set, or you could grind it out of Blackrock Death. Styra Maul if you want to farm the legs, or you can buy it on the auction house. Got a Lady Orc showing you the Treads of Crushed Flesh. That's very friendly. Dragon Soul Heroic, Warlord Xanas is the boss, 15% on drop rates. So we've got some pretty decent drop rates across the board on these. The hands are the Necrotic Boneplate Gauntlets. Dragon Soul Heroic, Warlord Xanas is the boss, 22% on the drop rate to pick up the hands, and the back is the Frostguard Drape, Wrath of the Lich King level tailoring. Check your local tailor, check your local auction house to pick up that Wrath of the Lich King cloak. The headpiece, part of the same tier set from Dragon Soul Heroic, War Master Blackhorn, 22% drop rate, and the weapon, Death's Bite Nex Ramus, Heroic 10-man Kel'Thuzad is the boss. The shoulders spin us back to Cataclysm. Ruthless Gladiator's Dreadplate Shoulders, Stormwind or Ogremar, Cata PvP vendor, 3 marks of honor, very easy and simple to pick up. The chest piece is part of a PvP tier set from Blackrock Foundry, Enforcer Sorka, 26% on the drop rate for the chest piece. Moving on, we're going to show you a Worgen and the belt, which is Ruthless Gladiator's Girdle of Cruelty. Stormwind Ogremar, Cata PvP vendor, 1 mark of honor to get the old PvP set. So the shoulders, the gloves, the belt, and I believe the boots are all from your Cata PvP vendor. So moving on, Firestorm leg plates, Blackrock Foundry, and we're going to show you the feet. As I said, yes, Ruthless Gladiators, War Boots of Cruelty. Stormwind Ogremar, Cata PvP vendor, 2 marks of honor. So that, look at that weapon and that cloak. I think it really works for this DK set. The Ruthless Gladiators Dreadplate Gauntlets. So we got a little bit of a PvP Cata type thing. mixed in with the chest and the legs, which are part of the tier set. So that's basically what we have here. The Cloak of Crimson Snow. This is Wrath of the Lich King level tailoring, or you could just step up by it on the auction house. The head, Hellfire Citadel, Demon Glaze, or Gaze, I should say. Cormrock is the boss, 5% on the drop rate. And the weapon is straight out of Ice Crown Citadel, Heroic 10-man from the Lich King. If you're still listening up and until now, I want to say thank you for watching, and I'll close out by saying what I always say: whatever it is by you, whether it is morning, afternoon, or night, make your day epic.